What's going on, everybody? Hank Harrison with Harrison Boys Outdoors. So today should have been day one of the first Toyota Series on Sam Rayburn, but due to some crazy weather conditions that we got last night all the way into today, just super high winds, today is canceled. Now we will be fishing Thursday and Friday. The full field will be fishing, so we'll have 2 full days of competition. At the end of Friday, we'll have a champion and we'll know where we stand. But today, we pretty much are completely rigged. Ethan behind me is actually running the camera right now, but we're pretty much all rigged. Got all of our Stick 5 rods ready to go. Got the Bass Cat ready to go. Bolts tightened, all that good stuff. But today, I wanted to do a video for something that gets overlooked a lot. So I am a marine tech at Ross Motorsports. I am not Yamaha certified. I am not Mercury certified. But what I am is very experienced when it comes to boat maintenance, motor maintenance, marine electronics. So that's what I do most of the time at Ross Motorsports. About 90% of the time is rig electronics. I am Garmin certified. And one of the things that once again gets really overlooked is how do we maintain these things on the roads. So in today's video, I'm going to go over what I bring as a marine technician to tournaments when we're on the road. Obviously, we're not far from my place of employment, which is Ross Motorsports. So if I ever needed anything, I could just run over there, grab stuff from my toolbox or my tool cart, and just run on back. But to save time, especially when we're going to be at Dardanelle this year, traveling anywhere, I have a small toolbox that I load up with stuff that I know I could possibly need and that I could use to fix quick things like screws coming out. Hey, I have a loss of power on my depth finder. Where's the loss? You know, stuff like that. So let's dive into it real quick. So this is just a basic toolbox, right? It's a Craftsman 6-drawer. You got the top and all that good stuff, but realistically, all you really need is a tool bag. You could even use a Tupperware box, something that's going to keep these tools dry. If you're keeping it in the, like if you have a truck box, anything like that, keeping these tools dry, making sure they're not rusting. I also have a set of tools in the boat, just some very basic screwdrivers and stuff like that. But this is what I keep in the truck and what I keep with me at tournaments. So obviously we're going to have a full set of sockets. There are some skips in here, obviously, on sizes. This is not a super nice set, guys. I've had this set for probably 5 or 6 years. It's just a Cobalt set of sockets, 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch. Nothing crazy. Most of them are all 12 point, except you have some 6 points up here, but a really good set of sockets, a good 3/8 ratchet, and a good 1/4 ratchet. Obviously, you don't need to go spend a whole lot of money. Harbor Freight, Home Depot, Lowe's. For us, for me as a professional, I'm going to need a little bit higher quality tools. But for y'all, as a non-professional mechanic needing to get stuff done, you can definitely save money at your Lowe's, at your Home Depot, or even Harbor Freight. They do a lot of really good deals there. All of these are sitting on magnetic trays, so when they're in the truck, they're not moving around. I would strongly recommend the Braun LED rechargeable light. This thing is super bright. I think upwards of 800 lumens. It has about a 3 to 5 hour runtime depending on what level of brightness you're running it on. It's magnetic. You can stick it on just about anywhere if you're working on anything, if you're changing a tire. Really recommend a really good light for just multi-purpose use. Obviously, a really good headlight for when you're rigging tackle at night, changing a tire, any of those things, or if you're crawling in your bilge, replacing a bilge pump. Depending on what your boat requires. So my Bass Cat almost exclusively uses a number 2 Roberts. That's a square bit head. So I have all of my bits that I'll need for that boat. Now for your Skeeters, using Torx bits, make sure that you have a Torx bit set. Now obviously this is a little overkill being Matco, but I use these every day. So a Torx bit set for your Skeeters. And take a look at your boat and just figure out what it needs. You know, I'm running a Mercury, so I have a 1/2 inch breaker bar with the correct size impact socket to fit my nut on my prop. So if I ever truly need to take it off, I don't have a block of wood, I can literally grab it and rip it apart with a big breaker bar. You can also use this to get the same size lug nuts, or the same socket for your lug nuts on your trailer, on your truck, all those good things. So a big 1/2 inch breaker bar or 3/8 breaker bar is incredibly, incredibly important and a multi-use tool. Kind of moving down, one thing that I would highly recommend is a voltmeter or a power probe. Guys, when we have electronics breaks in our boat, graph's not turning on, I'm having issue getting power to the front, it's very, very important to know if it's the actual head unit or if it's just a power cord or a bad connection. So being able to check connections and making sure everything's working well, you don't have to spend the money and get a power probe. You can go get a very cheap, inexpensive, and somewhat reliable voltmeter at your Lowe's, Home Depot, Harbor Freight to get you by, so you know what's going on. And any simple YouTube video can teach you everything you need to know about that specific product. Next, basic screwdrivers. Got Phillips head. This is a ratcheting one from Home Depot or Lowe's, Craftsman. It's incredibly convenient. I have one of these in my boat and I keep one in my truck. I have a full set of bits for it. It comes with a ton of spare bits that you would need to get by. So it's got your Torx, it's got your Allen, it's got your Phillips and flathead and a bunch of different stuff. Obviously, these are rusted. These are ones that I keep in my boat and as spares, but it's inexpensive. It doesn't cost a lot of money. If it rusts out, if it breaks, you can replace it very cheaply. So Allen keys as well. Keep Allen keys in your boat, especially all of you live scope guys, live sonar. A lot of your mounts for your marine electronics use Allen key screws. So your caps heads on your actual screws are going to use Allen heads for tightening. So make sure to keep the correct sizes to make sure that everything is staying tight. A lot of times on the old LVS 32, there is a nut on the back side that holds everything together, and that will loosen. You can see it right there. So making sure that you have the correct size Allen key is incredibly, incredibly important. I also carry around a very large flathead screwdriver. This is important to me, at least, whenever I'm doing motor services. This breaks open just about anything on that lower unit. So very important for me specifically. I just threw it in the box. Moving down, I believe everybody should have a full set of wrenches. Now, obviously, I have a set of ratcheting wrenches that I use personally at the shop. These are just the Icon ratcheting wrench set. They're reversible, so if I get something too tight, I can switch it over and move it. You do not need a ratcheting wrench set. You can actually go to Harbor Freight and for $25 get a wrench set all the way from 6mm all the way to 25. Now, obviously, they're not super nice, guys. There is a good chance that they could break, but the good thing is that if it does, it didn't cost you an arm and a leg. So 6mm all the way up to 25mm. You can also get those in the SAE or metric, depending on what your boat really fits. A lot of the stuff that we use nowadays, you can fit with a metric size wrench. So a full set of wrenches. Make sure you have the wrenches and the socket sizes to tighten up your transom bolts. That's very important. A lot of people have never checked that in their life. Reach down in there, make sure you have the right size wrench and the right size socket for your transom bolts, because you do not want one of those popping, getting loose. Obviously, that motor is the only thing getting you to your fish and back in one piece other than the fiberglass you're sitting in. Nothing in that drawer pretty much, but this last drawer is also incredibly important. This is going to have some of your pliers as well as some of your power tools. You don't have to have power tools, but because I have them readily available, this is just a Bauer 20 volt lithium impact driver. So you have your impact drill. This is 3/8 size, so it works for most of my sockets. I have a few extensions up here, so if I need to get somewhere, it can definitely do it. If I'm changing a tire, I can make it quicker by putting a 3/4 inch socket on here, cinching those down, and then taking my breaker bar and tightening everything up. So just a little bit more speed and efficiency when you're on the road, or heaven forbid you're in a trailering tournament, have a blowout, have a flat tire. You need to be able to make those tire changes as efficient as possible. I also have a bit driver. This one was handed down to me. This is just a relatively inexpensive bit driver, but you have everything you need right there. Have the actual bit holder. It just slides right in, makes a really easy task of throwing bits in and out of places. See if I can get this out. Other than that, needle nose pliers, obviously these are the long versions. You got the 45 degree and then you got the straight. Really convenient to have. More pliers, guys. Most of these pliers were bought either at Harbor Freight, Lowe's, AutoZone. You do not have to have expensive ones. These are just the Irwin crescent wrenches. You can grab these, just about do anything you need to when it comes to being bolt nut related. So having a good set of these, I like to have the big set and the little set available whenever I'm out. Wire strippers, guys. All of my stuff is actually in my boat right now. I need to take it out. But when it comes to wires and connections, you need to have some good wire strippers and crimpers. So as you can see, these are strippers and crimpers at the same time. And then this is a new set that I just got, but these are also strippers and crimpers. So really important, as well as having some flat cutters for wires, zip ties, anything like that. Making sure that you have spare wire to run to your depth finders if you ever need to. The right connections. Where did it go? Electrical tape, one of your best friends that you could ever have. So this is just a brief overview of what I take. There's more in the boat. There's more supplies in the truck that I keep, like wire connections, stuff like that. But these are the tools that I would need any given point in time when we're on the road to fix the basic issues that we can reach, not including the motor. Meaning, if the motor's blown, I'm sorry, that's just your tournament right there. But if it's a prop nut on your trolling motor, if we need to tighten this stuff up, if we need to do this, if we need to do that, if we need to run a new wire, we absolutely can. Guys, if we're aspiring tournament anglers and we're out on the road, we're spending all this money on this boat, this truck, this fuel, these tournament entry fees, we should be able to fix the small stuff if we have the capabilities. And it's not very hard. Getting yourself a good set of sockets, wrenches, getting yourself some cheap pliers. This breaker bar, well, if I can get it out. Guys, this breaker bar is $12. Right? I got this, actually, take that back, for $14 plus the socket total. There's no reason we shouldn't have it. So if we're going to try and be professionals, I highly recommend looking into getting some basic tools. This might be overkill for some people. You can definitely minimalist this down to your sockets, your ratchets, your wrenches, and some pliers. But this is what I take with me to all of these tournaments. If y'all have any questions, anything that y'all if there's anything that you think that you should prioritize over something else that you want to get, guys, just leave a comment, shoot me a DM any point in time, or if you have my personal contact information, just shoot me a text, give me a call. I'd be more than happy to give you a detailed list or some direction on where to go to purchase some of this stuff. Guys, thank you all so much. We're going to go get after it tomorrow for day one of the Toyota Series here on Sam Rayburn.